We're back. Hello, welcome to Journey On. It's the three-person triune thing that's the official title.
Okay,
Verbal
good.
trademark. We're here to talk about all things that are happening with Journey Fellowship. Fargo, so much excitement with a new location, and
Yeah.
I understand now. I don't want to get all crazy here, but
Okay.
let's make an announcement. Are there lights in the ladies' room?
There are officially
Huh?
lights in the ladies' room. They are not on as we speak because we're not there, but
Probably.
yes, there are functioning lights in
Excellent.
the ladies' room. So we're pretty excited about that. Baby steps, we're getting
Baby
there.
steps. Yeah. And next week, men's room. You know,
Yeah, next week we'll create a men's room. That'll be fun. Yep. All the
oh,
neighbors will
so
appreciate that.
yeah, for sure. So there are lights everywhere. There's doors. I understand because last time we recorded, there were doors being delivered at your house.
Yes,
We,
absolutely.
we
Yeah,
learned
that's
about
true.
that.
Yep. And they're
And
on, they're functional, they swing, so they do very dory things. It's awesome. Yeah.
like, are they like the old saloon doors? That kind of swinging?
Oh,
Squeaky,
that'd be
squeaky,
cool.
squeaky,
No,
squeaky,
oh
squeaky.
man, I didn't even, Amy,
Missed
we
an
didn't even think
opportunity.
about that. No, they're not.
Hey,
They're
next
they're very
next move. Yeah.
they're six panel solid core oak. And my mother-in-law, when she saw them, she went, "Oh, they look so churchy." So I don't know if
Oh,
that's good or bad. They
you know,
serve their purpose and they do look nice.
yeah.
So
Well, I'm
she
okay
meant
with
it as a
churchy.
compliment. She meant it as a compliment.
Yeah,
So
for sure. And I'm okay with churchy. Some things are
oh,
are
absolutely.
are are important about the churchiness that we have. So
Yeah.
good. I'm glad
Yep.
we're moving up. And just for reference, for those that maybe haven't been to the new location, the address 4745 Amber Valley Parkway, and
Correct.
that's in Fargo, not West Fargo or any other suburbs or
Yeah. Right.
okay. Right.
Oh yeah.
So we're
Like I
all
said,
set there.
it's over by Sickies, La Quinta, and Dairy Queen, the trifecta. Right over
Ooh, you have no excuse not to go out for breakfast and or lunch.
there. Thank you.
With church, right? Well, I
Correct.
guess does Sickies have breakfast? Does
I don't
anybody?
know if they have breakfast, but they're definitely open at lunchtime on Saturdays. So
Good for lunch, and
they
then
have great
of
wings.
course ice cream every week now.
Yeah, come on.
You guys, you know what? Journey Fellowship Fargo, you have a responsibility to to keep that Dairy Queen hopping on Saturdays.
Yes,
I
we will.
think it's a good thing. You know, this isn't an ad for Dairy Queen, but I have to tell you about these
Oh,
Janita
please.
stopped by and bought they have they have the dilly bars. Well,
Yep.
now they have Buster bars that are like a peanut buster bar parfait in a
Yeah.
bar.
Yeah. On a stick.
Yeah, on a stick. It's amazing. The
That's a throwback,
technology.
Jim.
Is that right? I didn't know that was
Yeah.
a thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. They used to make them, uh, and they probably still do in a Dixie cup. So they put peanuts in the
Oh,
bottom, or no, peanuts on top, I guess. So that'd be the bottom.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a Buster bar.
Huh. Huh. I'm just aghast. I had no idea.
Yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely.
excited. Yeah, I'll put that on my diet. That's gonna be
And
perfect.
Amy's now trying to figure out if we're gonna talk about anything besides food. Amy, surprise. We rarely do.
Oh,
Here I
speaking of
am.
food, we have a theme for
Yeah,
the Bismarck potluck,
yeah.
which is the third Sunday of every month. And this month, I love it. It's school food, back to school. So it's school food. And Carl, you called it. We have to have the square pizzas.
Pizzas. Hmm.
Yeah, I'm excited for tater tot hot dish. I hope somebody brings that. That was a
Oh, for
staple at our
sure.
school. Uh,
Absolutely.
I mean, whatever
There's
you bring, just make sure it's kind of gray and able to be labeled.
brand.
Yeah, I think
And there has to be peas, right?
always
Didn't
peas.
we always get peas like with almost every meal there was peas? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
So
then you had to take a pee. That was always the joke, right? I'm gonna take a pee. Uh, speaking of which, okay, let's talk about the review, and I'm gonna jump
okay.
way. I've got some notes on what I wanted to talk about, but I'm gonna jump ahead to letter 11.
All right.
This last week, you talked about laughter sources, like what we laugh from, and joy and fun. These are things from
Yep.
God, right? We get peace and joy from God, and
Yep.
then the devil starts to come in with jokes, and then flippancy.
Flip.
I tell you what, I didn't hear that part of the message on Sunday, for whatever reason, I think we talked earlier, you'd said something about wedges, the wedges that keep us
Mhm. Sure.
from each other and from God. And so I was thinking about potato wedges. And so in that moment, I may not have heard it then, but I looked through your notes and you talked about flippancy,
Yeah.
joking about things that are serious and how that's the easy one for the devil to kind of wedge his way in, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Exactly.
that struck me, Karl, because and Amy, I'd love to have this conversation because that is my humor. That is, the things that we're talking about. It's a natural, fun thing for me to just throw in the humor. Most of the time, I can read the room and tell if it's the right time to do it. Other times, it's not the right time, and yeah, exactly. Uh, but that's something that I need to reflect on for myself. Am I too much the silly guy, and is that causing me to be further from God or from my family? And I wanted to have that conversation if you guys are okay with it.
I am, and I'm glad you brought that up because there are, and I also am guilty of essentially the same thing when we
Mm,
get in because we talk about some pretty heavy stuff
mhm,
every once in a while, and being the person who the Holy Spirit has called to share that, it's not always easy to share. So
mm,
uh, my go-to delivery method is to kind of hit and then soften with a joke.
mhm, mhm.
Kind of hit, soften with a joke. So I don't I don't believe that's flippancy.
Okay.
Flippancy in so the going to humor to kind of lighten things. Um, I wouldn't see as flippancy. I think when we're using flippancy, the way Satan would use when we're seeing flippancy, the way
Mhm,
Satan would use flippancy. My example was, if you remember correctly, when you're asking somebody, um, so you guys are living together now, right?
oh,
Are you staying, abstinent until marriage? And maybe the guy would say like, hey, you got to test drive the car before you buy, ha ha ha, right? So
so
that's
there's a discomfort that comes with that type of flippancy, right? Like that's
yeah.
is that kind of what I'm
Well, kind
hearing?
of
Is that
what it's really doing is we know that God's moral standard and his virtue and his righteousness says that we should abstain from sexual contact unless it's in the confines of a man-woman marriage, right?
Mhm,
We know that the Bible says that. When we get into areas where um, we either want to downplay that because we're guilty of it or we don't want to offend
mhm,
somebody, we could maybe say that idea about, well, you got to test drive the car before you buy it. You know what I'm talking about. And so what that does is that takes one of God's moral commands, we'll say,
mhm.
one of his righteous or virtuous statements, and it diminishes it.
Yeah,
And we continue to diminish that until it's like, well, what's the big deal? We're just having sex. We live together. We do that because so that's, I think, the big thing is when we do that intentionally and we start to diminish what God's moral standard is, um, that creates a space where Satan can then drive a wedge in.
gotcha. Can
That
you
makes
guys hear my
sense?
dog? Yeah, can you hear my dog barking now?
I can't. No.
Oh, wow. So the microphone is working. I was telling you earlier, and I want to come back to the conversation, but
Sure.
she's discovered a mirror that is, I don't know if she's looking at herself or something in the mirror, but she's having a really good conversation back there. Just wanted to make sure she wasn't part of
That's
this one.
that's awesome. I wish I could see that. That'd be
That's
fun.
awesome. Well, thank you for that. And it's something for me I want to dig more into. And I think that's part of
Yeah.
the conversation about what the Screwtape Letters and really all message series that we have. I think that's part of it, right? Something not conflicts, something confronts me. I feel confronted.
Oh,
No,
convicts.
convicted.
Convicts.
Convicted. I knew
Sorry,
there
I
was a
didn't
con in
realize
there
you were looking
somewhere.
for a word. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm convicted by that. So I want to look more into that. And I enjoy laughter.
Yeah.
It's an important part of life, and time and place also, right? Like
Yeah.
not necessarily always. So, Amy, did you have any thoughts? I feel like I kind of talked right through everything there when Karl was done.
Nope, I think you guys did an excellent job. I agree. What you were describing, Jim, I don't see as flippancy either.
Mm.
Um, I think everybody's sense of humor is intended to be different. And as long as you are going with God's moral
Mm.
standards, then it's just you being you.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. So what I'm hearing through this conversation is I need to start testing the waters and see how far I can push this. Like, no, no, it's not what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's what we were saying. Yeah.
I don't know what you guys said, but that's what I heard. So, uh,
Yeah, you guys
uh,
keep talking. I'm hearing what I want here.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I got my own thing going on here. So let's go back to the review and
Okay.
start at the top. The check-in that you had at the beginning, Karl, was pretty awesome, and for the summer that we've had, I think relevant. Where are we at in the storm in relation to the storm?
Storms.
Are we
Calm.
heading into it? Yeah. Are we heading into it? Are we in the middle of it? Are we leaving it? And I would in some points in my life, I've been in all three at the same time, right? Like that.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Elements of your life. Yeah.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
storms happening, and that could be good. I look at a storm as growth sometimes. Like we have to go through the suffering, and we talk about that throughout the series and the
Yeah.
message this last week in particular. Sometimes we have to go through that so God can get our attention.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So undulation, back to the word that you started with, God does not tempt us. God is not capable of temptation. Wow, what a revelation. What a
Mhm.
it's a different concept from what I grew up with as a Christian child. It was for me, God tempts us, and it's our job to work around that, come
Yeah,
back
yeah.
to Him. Like God is the one doing it, and that is a different relationship that we have with God, with that truth, right?
Yeah, right, right.
I have to
No,
say,
yeah. Oh,
speaking of distractions, Amy, the picture that you have behind you, those three pictures, awesome. I love them. And there's a kind of a swoop that goes around it. It looks like
huh?
you have a bit of a halo today. So a lot of
I'm gonna
pressure.
slide to the edge,
Yeah.
and
There
you
you
can see
go.
the part of the
Hey,
cat tower.
yay.
Now
Oh,
it's like
cat
now it
towers are
looks like
awesome.
you have an antenna. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Cat towers are awesome. I wish they made people towers sometimes.
I think they do. Aren't they called stairwells?
Oh, yeah, that could be. Yep. But
Maybe.
okay,
All
Karl,
right.
as a carpenter, you could build better stairwells based on cat house designs.
Okay.
Saying,
I'm gonna write that down so I don't forget that.
don't do that. That's ridiculous. So God doesn't tempt us, but we are free to give in to sin. And that's the freedom that we have, right?
Right.
We can be tempted. We can live in that temptation if we want. Which leads into letter nine. A moderate religion is no religion at all.
Isn't that a
And
great thing? Isn't that a
that
great
is,
thing?
that message was so full of conviction. I would challenge anyone that hasn't watched it, that wasn't at the service, or maybe even if you were, to go back and watch it again. It's on the one from Bismarck, right? Is on
Yep.
YouTube.
Yep. That's correct.
Again, another, if we're not all in and we're not willing to give something up for it, what are we really living for?
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and then, of course, another one that got this time a song going through my head. Bad company ruins good morals.
Did you
Uh,
have bad company?
absolutely. I almost
How can
sang it
you not?
out.
How can
Yeah.
you not? I know, I know. That's the truth.
Well,
Bad company ruins good morals.
yeah, and sorry for the band. I don't know why they've got all the pressure on them, but you kind of swung to the other side with Proverbs 13 verse 20. Walk
Hmm.
with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm.
Yeah.
And that's the definition of our family to me. I'm my intention is walking with those and surrounding myself with those that it's not necessarily a mentor-mentee relationship. It's all just we're all of a positive mindset building each other up.
Yeah.
And do we do foolish things? Absolutely. But that we have uh, a moral base that we continue to lift up together, I think.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think when the Bible, specifically Old Testament, when it talks fools, it's talking about um, uh, n- I don't know how to say it, not followers of God. Fools
Hmm.
are people that don't follow God.
Hmm.
So when you're walking with people that don't follow God, you're in the companion of fools, and you will suffer harm.
And it's another one of those
It's just
balances,
doing
right?
foolish stuff. Because if it's, oh, sorry, what's that?
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, if it's just doing foolish stuff like mixing, your reds and your whites when you do laundry, that's not necessarily a sin, but it's foolish.
Boy, it depends on who you ask.
Yeah, great. Yeah, ask your wife. It's probably closer to a sin than you think it might be. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And it's another balance when it comes to that too, right? Because we're walking with the wise, and yet we're called to be out with, based on that definition, we're called to be out with the fools so that we
exactly.
can bring them in with us. So yeah, there's man, there's a lot going on with this one. And then we get into the laughter
Yeah.
sources,
Mhm.
peace and joy, and just being careful with how we handle that. And then you wrapped it all together nicely, I thought, at the end with Satan's attacks. They're subtle. And we talked about that last week. That was kind of your final thoughts, and those subtle attacks
Yep.
that I think, if we talked a bit ago, Amy, I think you're going to kind of continue to build on that, right? These subtleties that Satan has in store for us, attacking our self-worth, our value, and our peace,
Mhm.
and all of that. The anxiety. Each time I'm feeling anxious about something, I have the prayer. Oftentimes it works, and other times I'm human, right? But that anxiety, if I'm feeling anxious about something that hasn't happened yet, uh, I I need to let that go, and that's Satan trying to work his way in. I believe.
Right.
I really do believe that's a part of it,
Mhm.
and a human condition that we suffer with. So those were my thoughts on all of that, and I appreciate that you send the notes out. I appreciate that we're working from a book that has structure. I love structure.
Yes, you do. You do.
Yeah, so this has been awesome for me. Did either of you have any other thoughts from the message or anything that you wanted to add in?
Oh,
No is
Amy,
okay. Yeah,
no,
I didn't mean to
I
put
just
you on the
want
spot.
I want to go back to something you said about walking with fools and a balance in there because
Hmm.
especially when we think about fools being non-believers, well, we're called, and I love this, we're called to know God. So that's our big project to continually know God, get to know God, continually grow in God, right? And then God matures us so we know more of God and are closer to God. So that's know God and then make God known.
Mm.
If it's just the three of us and we continually meet and are making God known to each other, we're kind of
Mm-hmm.
missing the boat. We have to get out there. So it's there's a saying and I'm gonna probably mess this up. Uh, oh, I can't think. It's essentially the saying is, "Oh, be in the world, not of the world.
Mm.
Be in
Yeah.
the world, not of the world." There we go.
Sure.
And so obviously we have to go into unbeliever territory because there's non-believers all over the place. So if you go into a coffee shop or a Lowe's or a Home Depot, Menards,
Hmm.
whatever, can you tell where I spend most of my time? Or other places, go to the DMV. There's probably unbelievers there, and
Sure.
so we're in amongst them. That doesn't mean we take on their characteristics, and that really has a lot to do with what we were
Right.
talking about. Is when Wormwood was really excited that his patient had a married couple that was rich, materialistic, and atheists,
Hmm.
and so Screwtape says, "Yeah, we can use that because you become who you hang out
Right.
with,"
Right.
and so that's kind of what I want to talk about the final thought, but I love that you brought that up. We need to be in the world, not of the world. Yes, we need to be out there, but when we're connected with our Savior, we have our protector, our guidance, we have our Messiah, we have our strength. It's all right there. So thank you for bringing that up.
Good. Well, I appreciate that we can have these conversations and be open about what we know is right, and then also the struggles that we have
Yeah.
along the way. That's an important part of being a family as well. So with that, then let's tee up this coming weekend, this Saturday and Sunday. Amy, you're covering it's the next four then would be 12, 13, 14, and 15. Is that right?
Yes. Yep.
And what do you have so far? It's Tuesday evening. No pressure, but Saturday's coming up quickly. So
That it
what do you have in
is.
mind? Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I am very excited about these four chapters. Like before, when I started going through it, it's like, oh, good golly, this is a lot of stuff to cover. But
Hmm.
they build on each other so well that I'm kind of getting more excited the closer I get to having finished notes. Because no, they're not finished yet, but they're on their way. So that's all that's important. But then the other fun thing is all of the examples. I don't know if I'm going to have a problem thinking of examples for each of the different chapters because one of them is essentially distraction. And if there's anybody on the planet who hasn't been distracted, then I think they're lying. Um, so, so there's that. And then thinking without action is another
Mm.
theme of one of the chapters. There's humility, and then there's living in the present. Those are kind of the
Ooh,
four themes.
yeah, I could see
And
where those stack on each other. I like it.
Right.
yeah, so
That's
I'm
awesome.
getting super excited. I don't have any key verse necessarily. We might talk about Mary and Martha.
Mm.
We might read First John 3. We might not touch on either of them. So it'll just be a surprise.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'd love to talk with you about, Amy, is the excitement that you're feeling now. I've also had that excitement in preparing a message to share with our family. That kind of diving in and realizing, oh, this is what this is meaning to me now. These are the messages that I'm getting, and starting with that overwhelm because I start every project. I mean, everything from, well, it doesn't matter. Any project starts with a big overwhelm. I think and not act. That's a
Oh,
go-to for me. I get overwhelmed. But once we kind of uh, filter it down and start realizing, and having those the messages that we hear and the understandings that we have, and then getting to the point that it's all come together and then sharing it with the family. That is so fulfilling, and I know you've talked about that before as well, and I think it's worth mentioning here so that others that may be watching this or might watch this and share this with somebody else that needs to watch it can maybe do the same because I know there's more people that have messages to share with us, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Amy.
I mean, so part of this week doing the book reminded me of like doing a book report for school, and
Hmm.
that's maybe the not quite so fun part, but then digging into the how do you explain this to somebody
Mm.
else is where you think of the examples that are then super relatable. And I've moved quite a few times, so moving is a we just went through in Fargo as well, and there's always a nice little trail that I leave around my house when I move. That's how I can tell I'm in the middle of moving or packing, is because it's like 50 million undone things,
Hmm.
and that represents so much of what we're going to talk about this weekend too, I think.
Awesome.
So
Good.
Well, can't wait. Will you be making the trek to Bismarck to give the
yep.
message? Awesome. Well, we're looking
Yep.
forward to having you. Congratulations to both of you and everybody in Fargo on the successful move, and the first service is under your belt. So no more pressure. It's all easy peasy from here, right?
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Excellent.
Well, we still have some things to do. I was agreeing with you. I'm like, yeah, first thing, oh, easy peasy. Yeah. Well, we still have some things to do, but we're just gonna chip away at those. And it's kind of it'll be kind of fun for people who see the building,
Mm,
once a week. Every week, we could almost play the game. What's
right?
different this week?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
the
there
two
are links
pictures
at the
side by
website.
side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Find the
Uh,
difference.
so
Mhm.
a really important thing we haven't talked about here up to this point, I've been
Yeah,
to the old location a few times, and there's a lovely kitchen area
yeah,
with a nice
yeah.
counter, and there were always snacks there. That was nice, and
Lots of
coffee,
snacks.
and
Yes.
a sink, and a fridge, and really cool things happening. Was that a consideration in the new location? Like, is there a spot for this, or do we need to?
You you'll be impressed when you see this, Jim. We have in the sanctuary, we have a counter where we're going to have we didn't have it last week, but we will eventually have coffee there. So
Oh,
if you need a caffeine fix in the middle of the message, it's right there. We also have a walkthrough into a fellowship area. I mean, fellowship is continual from
mm,
morning till night, but an area where there is the coffee is brewed, there's tables set out, there's a sink, and then we have a separate commercial kitchen in this building
Oh boy.
with like the deep stainless steel sink wells and big freezer, two refrigerators. It's
Wow.
yeah, it'll probably never get used to its full potential. I shouldn't say that, but it probably
Yeah. There's your
not
challenge,
very
Fargo.
often. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a challenge, right? Yeah. So
Well,
it's pretty
excellent.
cool. I'm excited for you guys to see it. It's really a nice facility.
Well, awesome. And the invitation is always there, of course, for
Right.
Bismarck folks and
Yeah.
Fargo folks to go to both services, and anybody in between and outside the area. Just always reasons to bring new folks in and
Yep.
invite them to our homes, right? What are your final thoughts? You mentioned you touched on it a little bit ago. What are your final thoughts as we wind down here today?
My final thought goes back to something that we talked about this weekend, and it's living the double life. That's what one of Satan's subtle
Hmm.
ways that he gets us to kind of create a distance, and then he can put a wedge in there. And I just want people this week, specifically this week, to just think about who they are in all the different aspects of their life, who they are in their home life.
Hmm.
They're by themselves when they're with their spouse with their family, who they are when they're at work, who they are in traffic, who they are, during those entertainment times, who, just when you're out with your buddies. Because honestly, I think those areas where you feel like you need to be somebody besides someone that glorifies God, I honestly believe that's the Holy Spirit saying, be in this world, not of this world. And I think a lot of times we're called into those places to be a light. So if there's a bunch of guys telling
Off-color jokes.
off-color jokes, maybe you're the guy that and nobody ever wants to be that person, or a group of ladies that are gossiping, maybe God is intending you to say, hey, you know what? Those people aren't here to defend themselves. Let's talk about something else. Or guys,
Mm.
let's talk about something else. And that's a huge thing. That's a
It's
huge
risky.
thing.
Yeah.
It is, because you might get called names, and not everybody's ready for that. But I want people to be aware that there are times where I believe we're put in situations to be the light and not the gas on the fire.
Oh, I love it. And there's a word that goes along with all of that. And I think it touches on last week's message, the message coming up,
Mhm.
and what you just talked about, decompartmentalize. If we
Ooh.
take those boxes that we have and those masks that we have and put them all together, let's get the stuff out of them, because it doesn't have to be separate. It can all be one
Right.
together. And what a peaceful way to live.
Do you hear that? Can you hear the thunder?
Oh no.
Oh,
I can.
I don't hear your
I'm
dog. You
here.
don't hear my thunder. You can,
Yeah.
though, Amy, right?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, that's exciting. Well, before we lose power, yeah, maybe we should wrap up for this week. Thank you both for the conversation. Amy, really looking forward to seeing you and hearing the message. Karl, thanks for your time as always, and we'll see everybody very soon. God bless.